The old woman settled the scholars as follows: the rhetorician in the house, the theologian in an empty shed, and the philosopher in an also empty sheep's hovel. Once alone, the philosopher gobbled up the crucian in minutes, examined the wicker walls of the hovel, kicked away a curious pig that stuck its snout in from its own hovel next door, and rolled over on his other side to fall asleep like a log. Suddenly the low door opened, and the old woman stepped into the hovel. "What is it, Granny? What do you want?" the philosopher said. But the woman just kept walking toward him, with her arms outstretched. "Ahem," the philosopher thought. "No way, darling. You're too old." He moved away a bit, but the old woman once again walked toward him. "Listen, Granny," the philosopher said. "It's Lent. I'm the kind of man who'd rather lose 1,000 gold pieces than fall into sin." The old woman waved her arms and tried to catch him, not saying a word. The philosopher felt frightened, especially when he noticed a strange sort of gleam in her eyes. "Granny, what's wrong with you? Go away, for God's sake!" he screamed. The old woman remained silent and continued grasping at him. He jumped to his feet, intending to flee, but the old woman blocked the door, leveled her flashing eyes at him, and once again stepped toward him. The philosopher wanted to push her away, but was surprised to realize he could not raise his arms, and his legs refused to move. He was terrified to discover no sound came out of his lips. They merely moved, but there were no words. All he could hear was the beating of his heart. He watched the old woman as she walked up to him, folded his arms, pushed down his head, jumped onto his back as quick as a cat, and struck him with a broom. He rushed out, prancing like a horse, carrying her on his shoulders. It all happened so quickly, the philosopher barely knew what was going on. He grabbed his own knees, trying to keep his legs from moving. Much to his enormous surprise, they went up and down against his will, and caused him to leap and run faster than a Caucasian thoroughbred. Once they passed the village, and came out into a smooth ravine with a coal-black forest looming on one side. He finally said to himself, "Aha! She must be a witch." Crescent moon grew brighter in the sky. Timid midnight glow stretched easily and misted over the land like a lace coverlet. Forests, meadows, valleys, and the sky itself, everything seemed to be sleeping with its eyes open. There wasn't a single fluttering of wind anywhere. There was something moistly warm in the nighttime freshness. Shadows from trees and bushes fell onto the sloping valleys in sharp wedges, like comets. Such was the night during which the philosopher Khoma Brut ran forth with the strange rider on his back. He felt a kind of tiresome, unpleasant, and at the same time sweet sensation creeping toward his heart. He looked down and saw the grass under his feet growing, seemingly deep and far, with transparent spring water above it. The grass looked like the bottom of some clear, transparent sea, visible to the very bottom. He could clearly see his reflection in it, as well as that of the old woman on his back. He saw a kind of sun shining there instead of the moon. He heard the bluebells bend and ring. He saw a river sprite swimming from the reeds, and the flash of her curving, smooth back and leg, all made of brilliance and shimmering. She turned toward him, and her face, with its light, sparkling, piercing eyes, was drawing closer to him, her gaze bursting into his soul like a song. There it was, right at the surface, then burst into sparkling laughter and moved away. She flipped to her back, and her heavenly bosom, as matte as unglazed china, glowed under that odd sun along the edges of their white, delicate circumference. Small droplets of water covered them like beads. The sprite shook and laughed in the water.